me tell you the story of right hand, left hand. It's a tale of good and evil. Hate, it was with this hand that Cain iced his brother. Love, these 5 fingers, they go straight to the soul of man. The right hand, the hand of love. The story of life is this: static. One hand is always fighting the other hand, and the left hand is kicking much ass. I mean, it looks like the right hand, love, is finished. But hold on, stop the presses. The right hand is coming back. Yeah, he got the left hand on the ropes. Now that's right. Oh, it's a devastating right, and Hate is hurt. He's down. Left hand Hate KO'd by cheat codes. Hi, everybody. It's September 17th, 2015. This is episode 63 of the Cheat Codes podcast. The next hour is us enjoying a couple beers and going over our favorite bits from the past week in video game, tech, and pop culture news. We're recording this courtside from a Knicks game while we spew not-so-kind criticism in a very animated way at referees from behind our turtle shell glasses. It's Spike Lee. Today I'm here with the Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Mookie Arroyo.
That's right.
Yeah. Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Nikk, Sweet Dick Willie Golesh. Yeah, that's right. And Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Bernard, bugging out Hwang. Hong.
Hey.
Hi. All right. Today on the show, we'll be addressing the following topics. Washington State is the first to order a failed Kickstarter to pay its empty-handed backers. I hope the folks making Mighty No. 9 are paying attention. There's a new honcho at Nintendo, and it's not Miyamoto. It's also not a zombie or clone version of Iwata. Sad face. This is totally okay. Apparently, China doesn't want your games. We're going to take another look at the huge new market and whether or not anyone outside of China can get into it. For today's lightning round, we'll briefly round robin the following. Brass-balled YouTube streamers are apparently asking for money to promote games now. Great. Something new for Jimmy Kimmel to bitch about. Facebook has spoken. They're working on a dislike button. The last guy at MySpace is probably pretty stoked. And the new NBA 2K6 story mode is a Spike Lee joint. Hopefully he's done the right thing. Hashtag low-hanging fruit. So much enthusiasm right now. It's amazing. We mentioned beer before. We're drinking it. We're of the opinion it makes us better conversationalists and just better people in general. There's an unproven correlation between hops and entertainment. More of the former leads to more of the latter. Today we're enjoying Thor's Equinox by the Odin Brewing Company. Joe, how does that taste?
It's delicious. It's, what did I say when I had a first sip? It's a by the fire beer.
Yeah, it's rainy here in the outskirts of Seattle, so I imagine that's probably, you want a blanket and a couch and some football right now and just be sitting on that couch drinking it.
I do, and football's like so close.
It's right upstairs
right now. So's the fire.
All right, Bernard, how are you, man? It's been a while. What's going on? What's happening?
Doing fine. I'm on a job hunt, I guess. So that's what I've been occupied with most of the time.
I owe you a big thank you for all of your efforts with the YouTube channel and
yeah, sure,
and rendering all that fun stuff. And we got some fancy new artwork on the Facebook page because of Bernard as well.
Yeah, I got a lot of good feedback about that art.
It looks great.
Especially the cartridge.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's awesome.
Expect another upload right after this podcast launches, I guess.
Ooh.
I wish you could feel my boner right now.
So fancy. Fancy boner.
It's good to have you, man. Thanks for coming back and hanging out with us. All right. Topics it is. Washington State orders restitution and fines from a delayed Kickstarter. This is the first time this has happened, fellas. This is kind of making crowdfunding less of a Wild Wild West situation and more of a, hey, we're going to annex you and take you over. But filed on there was a injunction filed on July 22nd in Washington State courts that set a precedent that companies and individuals who accept money through crowdfunding are beholden to deliver on their promises. Attorney General Bob Ferguson said that we're not going to tolerate quote crowdfunding theft anymore.
Ooh, that's a bold bold term. It's correct.
Absolutely. Contextually speaking, the suit was against Edward J. Polchlopak III. Did I say that? Polchlopak? Yeah. Failed to deliver to the backers his campaign, which was Asylum Playing Cards. He has another production company based out of Tennessee and a Serbian artist. They were set to deliver to their backers in December of 2012.
2015 now.
Right. Good context. And the campaign was a success. They raised almost close to double what they asked for. There was a $15,000 ask, and they got $25,000 and change. And and the judge finally threw down the hammer after a lot of people started complaining. The reward specifically went to Washington State residents because enough people complained about it, and they're encouraging backers in other states to write to their attorney general to seek restitution. People that donated $9 are getting to the tune of almost $700 back somehow, but yeah. So there's a whole thing. So the Kickstarter itself raised $25,000, and now Polch and his company Altius Management must also pay $31,000 in civil penalties and another $23 and change in court costs. So basically, they've doubled. He has to spend twice as much as he made on the Kickstarter.
If he has an LLC, they're just going to shut down or something, or
I guess so. I mean, is that how that works?
Well, yeah. I mean,
pretty much. Like you get an LLC, you get sued. They just kind of dissolve the company or something.
Right.
yeah, you know what the LL stands for? An LLC?
Limited liability.
Yeah.
There you
Limited liability for who? I don't know, Mr. Polchlepek over here.
Polchlepek.
I have no idea what his status is, but
Had they released anything else before? Like,
I'm not. I don't know if I can answer that in confidence without. I'm going to say no, but maybe. I'm not sure what to think about this, guys. Is this a good precedent to set? Should we start cracking down on people that don't deliver on Kickstarters?
doesn't matter. It has been set. The moment you have a court case ruling over something like this, that is what's used in every other court case ruling from now on.
It's precedent in that regard.
It'll be Washington State versus Polchlepek. They had this ruling, and that holds true. If you run into a case with similar circumstances, then you can't rule it differently if you cite this in court, because you'd have to come up with a good reason why that case is not like your case.
Fair enough.
And so we already did set it.
Okay, but let's pretend for a second that it didn't come through.
Okay, I like pretending.
Okay,
that's fine.
Let's speculating. This is what we do our best. Bernard, what do you think? Is this the right way to handle this? If a Kickstarter fail or it succeeds and then people don't get the thing that they wanted, are they entitled to restitution?
I mean, I'm sort of the veteran on this, because on one hand, like, you want to empower people like who are spending their money on Kickstarter to, make smart decisions and, not just spend your money blindly. But on the other hand, like, you want to, if you regulate Kickstarter campaigns and make sure that they're liable for their actions, then you get less scammy type Kickstarters, which make, just the idea of crowdfunding more reliable from like both sides. So when you spend money on Kickstarter, you don't have to worry about, your money just going to, some guy who just wants to steal it.
Look, I will make that potato salad, and I will deliver
and
on
he
my
did.
promise.
That guy did.
He made a fucking potato salad.
He made a very large potato salad.
Did he have to?
Well, he said he would.
He
got more than enough of a funding to do so.
No, I mean, like, was like a top tier donator. I mean, like, I'll make 2 bowls of potato salad. I'm pretty sure he just needed to make a potato salad, right? And then it's done.
I'm not sure what his tier system looked like. You know what I mean? I'm sure it wasn't very extensive.
I'm terribly interested.
I'll let you go look that up. Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, is it a German potato salad or what?
Well, you get one of those, like, shitty shirts, the kind of your grandma sends you. It'll be like, I backed a potato salad and all I got was a stupid shirt or whatever. And that's like the top tier donator. What is it? I'm so interested to know what it means to actually deliver on your promise, because once we get to the point where this is incredibly concrete,
yes,
like, this is what you were backed for, this is what you said you were going to do, now you need to do that. Anybody who makes games, even people who don't, should know by now that the thing that you set out to make is never the thing that's delivered. So I wonder where that line, that gray area actually means something to this, because you can make a totally different game. You could still deliver something, put it out in the public, people could love it, but if it's not the thing that people spent money on, do you think they have recourse to actually take it to court, even if you put out a game, if it's nothing like what they funded?
So I have a kind of a long-winded answer, but I'll let you guys touch this first before I go after it. Go ahead, Nick.
I don't know. Like, this is a weird. I got mixed feelings about this, because I feel like it's people throwing their money at something to try to make something happen, and sure, people are trying to, I guess, say they're going to do this stuff with this money, but I don't know, like, I kind of don't feel bad for the people that throw the money away at these things or something, because you should recognize that the guy's just trying to make potato salad or something. I mean, maybe it's a scam or not or something. You should grow up being responsible with your money, I suppose.
Sure.
But then you also have to protect the people, I guess, in a way, because these people are saying that they're going to do this one thing or something. Like, this is what we want your money for, I suppose.
Do the thing you promised to do.
I suppose, yeah. And if it's going to help get the scams off of Kickstarter, then I'm all for it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bernard? One way or the other?
If I had to lean one way?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the regulation. So we just have more quality Kickstarters in there instead of, and not have to deal with all this scam bullshit.
Okay.
How much is the Wing Commander game going to give back or something?
Oh, you mean Star Citizen?
Yeah.
I think it depends on that dude that's like basically going after them so hard. He's some.
That
from
weird
Texas.
rivalry.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I kind of feel bad for Chris Roberts, but
a basis, I guess, on doing it. I suppose. I mean, it's not.
I'm not sure it's the same thing.
Well, it's not yet, but
right, because it's not like they've superseded a deadline. I'm not sure they promised a deadline. Maybe that was this guy's problem.
3 years ago or something else.
Yeah, but see that this goes off of kind of my point earlier that you said you had a decent response to, which is
I'm waiting for my turn.
Yeah, which is that, I mean, they're not making what they said they were going to make initially, and they're going to make changes. Every game is going to do that. So what do you do about that when somebody has a problem with it, like this hater?
What I donated to is not the thing that I got, if they get something at all.
So do they have recourse?
So here's the thing. Like, I think people need to remember, too, that donating to a project on Kickstarter does not make you an investor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like throwing money at Santa into the red bucket when you're walking out of a supermarket. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, like, if the kid that you think that money's going to go help didn't get helped, are you entitled to that money back? No, not necessarily. On the other hand, when you have a relationship like that crowdfunding kind of establishes, where, if you donate a certain amount, you're entitled to these certain things based on the way we do it. If we get funded, we'll do all these things. You're making certain promises, right? So if that doesn't happen, are you entitled to get your money back and plus change? Apparently, I don't know. Like, apparently yes, you are in the state of Washington. I guess that's what we talked about before. This is the precedent that has been set now. I'm not saying this guy should have gotten away with it. What I'm saying is, I feel like yes, you're entitled to get your money back at that point. If you have to fight that hard to get it, then why did you donate it in the first place? Like, if you're throwing money at a Kickstarter or even a charity for that, like, I'm not trying to equate the two, but I guess I'm just trying to draw a certain analogy. I don't know. This one kind of fucked me up a little bit because I don't know if these people were entitled to their money. I'm not sure.
I still don't see where the line is, though.
It's a hard one to draw for sure.
Not even. I mean, I don't even know at all what it is. Like, anywhere close. Is this a situation where they said, we're going to make a game, we got a bunch of money, and then we went belly up and nothing happened at all, and there was no evidence that we even attempted?
Right.
Because if that's the case, okay, fine. But what if they worked their ass off and then it failed? Like, what do you do with that?
Well, I guess that's where the whole Star Citizen thing comes in, or even the Mighty Number 9 thing, where you have like 4 different Kickstarters going, or you have crowdfunding from multiple sources that's coming in, and it, like, more and more time is going by. And even if you didn't promise a deadline, I'm sure the people that back you are kind of like, what the fuck are you doing with my money? You know what I mean? But again, these people are not investors. They don't have a say or a stake in what's happening. They just threw money at something because they wanted to see it happen, not because they expect to have a say in what goes on. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess, yeah. What happens when you give money to a charity and then later on there's an investigation in the charity and they find out that they're using the money to
pay their executives as opposed to
instead of donating it to the children or something? What happens to those companies? They just get shut down or something? Do the people actually get their money back for those donations?
I don't think so.
So, I mean, I feel like you have to kind of like treat it the same way, because you're giving money to people that says they're going to do something, and no, then you wouldn't be entitled to get it back or something if they screwed it up or something. I guess the company gets shut down. Where does their revenue go or something? Like, where does the money that they made go, I guess, if they made any?
I mean, isn't that a little different? Because when you make a purchase on Kickstarter, you're not necessarily making a donation, because you're buying into a tier, and then you're supposed to be given the thing that you
yes,
got
this
from
is
your
the
tier.
difference. You're explaining the difference. Yes.
And what's the first tier in every Kickstarter is a copy of the game. So
well,
now everybody from there on out, unless you can deliver a copy of the game.
I don't think it's that different. Instead of me getting the game, a child gets a T-shirt instead or something. Okay,
I get what you're saying. I get the argument.
I don't know. Like, it's just,
I'm not sure it's the right correlation. Again, Kickstarter and charity is different. You know what I mean? But
the problem right now, though, is that from a litigation standpoint, they're not all that different. They should be.
Sure.
Okay, I'm agreeing that they're different, but I'm just saying, when you look at it from how it's operated in the past up until this lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much been a charity. You give money, you don't expect it in return. You really hope the thing comes out, and if it fails, so be it. That's how it's always been.
I hope a video game gets made, or I hope some homeless people get some food. Either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a terrible correlation to actually make.
Yeah, totally.
Like when I say it, the word vomit, it sounds wrong, but in terms of just looking at it from a high level, that's kind of
right,
how
from
it
a general
operates.
standpoint, for sure. I don't know. Final thoughts, Bernard?
I don't know. You've guys covered the topic pretty well. I'm not sure if I can add.
I guess after what you said, Joe, I think the way I feel is that if the litigation has gone through, and it clearly has, I think it's the most important question to think. Like maybe this, yes, it'll clear up the market a little bit, but maybe having stuff like this happen is what's going to draw that distinguishing line between what a charity is and what crowdfunding is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if there's more litigation like this, and if it's necessary, if it's deemed necessary by a higher court, then so be it. And that's why, I hope these people get their money back and then they reinvest in something that actually comes to fruition, at the very least. Or that $9 that they were supposed to get, but the 681 or 679, I guess, that would have busted over, they could go and buy more games that exist already. Or give it to Star Citizen because they need the money apparently. So.
I fear this is going to come to the point where, like, whenever you click that give money to the Kickstarter, you just kind of hit a disclaimer and it says this money, like, you're not entitled to it after if, like, we don't deliver on the promise or something, and then it's not going to get rid of scammers at all.
Is there a disclaimer on Kickstarter when you donate? Do you have to, like,
probably
like a terms and service?
If there was,
there totally is a terms and service,
but not for getting your money or.
Well, obviously, if they had something to that effect, they didn't word it properly. If someone was able to win a court case over it,
but they're like notorious for having vague language in the first place because it's such like crowdfunding in general. It's been around for a few years, but it's still kind of like I said at the beginning, like the Wild Wild West. Like it's not really something that people have a grasp on legally.
And so I'm sure there are plenty of legal barriers there, but that were not worded properly, and that this is what cost them in that scenario. And
fair enough.
Well, I don't know. I think Personally, I think what we're going to see from this is more of a Kickstarter going belly up altogether over the next, couple years or so, because you just very, very typical of an economic situation like this or like stock market or something. The people who put money into it are no longer going to feel comfortable doing it.
Lack of certainty breeds fear or whatever.
Right. In this scenario, you'd think it would go the other direction, right? Because now people will feel more comfortable knowing that if it went poorly, that they could get their money back.
Yeah.
But you're going to have still the other thing where you have a bunch of people just pulling out, and nobody's going to want to be associated with it from the company side. Everyone who is legitimate is going to get scared away because that's just as much pressure as a publisher. So at that point, you may as well just go pitch to a publisher and put your game out that way.
Fair enough. All right.
That's what I think.
Yeah, okay. I'm good with it. Moving on. So, obviously, we're all still kind of in mourning, and so is Nintendo after the passing of Iwata a few months ago. But after a period of mourning, the people at Nintendo have turned around and, the chair or, the board or whatever you want to call it has turned around and said that they've announced the successor to the throne, so to speak. Tatsumi Kimishima has been elected. Is that? I don't even know how they do it, but he's the guy. He's the guy in charge now. He's superseded Miyamoto and Takeda, the hardware and software guys, kind of the creative aspect, and he's the new champion, the equivalent to Reggie on the American side, I guess.
Does he have a puppet yet?
It's a reasonable question, and we'll get to this maybe we can just jump right in with it now. Like I think so. Some of the not necessarily criticism, but people are a little worried because Iwata had such a cool personality and he like kind of became a face in Nintendo, not just a presence and like an executive. Like he was kind of out there doing the Nintendo Direct videos and hanging with Reggie, doing funny jokes and getting involved essentially. From all the pictures and stuff that's been shown, like this guy is like stone faced, super austere. So definitely not necessarily like from the front end kind of
not puppet material,
right? Or he's just like the eagle, or he's the guy sitting up in the balcony like shitting on everybody else while they do funny stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. He's got a huge like long ass background. He's been around for a long time in the Nintendo universe, the Pokemon universe. He started his career back in the 70s in banking.
From banking to video games.
Well, money,
yeah.
Right? I mean, he was actually the president before Reggie of Nintendo America for a while. So,
how'd that work?
And
out?
the Pokemon Company, not for nothing. What's that? How did what work out?
How did that work out? Why
he was only there for a couple
did
years?
Reggie take over?
I'm not sure I'm privy to that information, but I don't know. It's nice to see somebody back in the reins. It's actually going to be like kind of this catalyst to a lot of restructuring that actually took effect yesterday. They've named Miyamoto as quote unquote creative fellow, and Takeda, the hardware guy, as technical fellow, and they're basically just CEOs of their departments. They're like the department heads for the technical and like hardware aspect as opposed to like the design and the creative end, which is great. Maybe everybody's making more money. It's nice to see some solid direction. They're all about fostering new talent and keeping Nintendo on the right track. And not for nothing, like after Super Mario Makers come out and Splatoon and everything else, like when they got the new platform on the up and coming, I think Nintendo is on the right track at this point. I mean, we shit on Nintendo frequently on this show, but
I certainly do.
But I think I don't know. It's nice to see them getting back on track and keeping the whole vision alive to a certain degree.
Yeah, they're doing better over the past few years and stuff. I'm hopeful. The new console and everything, and Splatoon's doing great. It's like the best thing they've released in the past 10 years.
Yeah, people are going apeshit about Super Mario Maker right now too. Like,
oh yeah, Splatoon and Super Mario Maker.
It's been a good year for not only for games, but definitely for Nintendo. I mean, earlier this year we got like Smash Brothers again and everything else, and I mean Pokemon's never that far from the fold. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there's always Pokemon news or something.
Yeah,
like the one that I kind of wanted to talk about also was the Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you put that in the lineup at all or not.
We did not. So. But you can segue a little bit briefly. Go on a tangent,
cool.
bro. Go for it.
We can all play Pokemon on our Androids, and you just walk into the park and go catch a Pikachu or something.
Yes, it's like location based.
Yeah, so
yeah, it's ingress for Pokemon,
like ARG style. Like I have to
ARG style.
Like I have to point my camera at this park bench, and
I don't know how it works, but you have to go to the location. Like Pokemon are in certain areas of the wild, so you got to go find them. Or something.
That's actually kind of great because
like you go to yeah.
I'm not. I don't play Pokemon. I played some of the earlier original Pokemon.
You played Pokken?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Monster Hunter?
No, like Yellow.
Yeah.
And that was like the last one. But I love geocaching.
Sure.
That's super cool.
That'd be similar to this.
And that's what this reminds me of, except with that nice that Pokemon spirit behind it.
I don't think there's like a specific location. It's like an area where you can go and find a specific Pokemon, though.
Yeah, but that means you have to like, instead of like just going or staying here in Redmond, I'd have to drive to Seattle at Westlake Station or something maybe to go catch something.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah,
go to a certain park.
Really similar to the way geocaching works, except you don't leave a leg of a Barbie in there for somebody else to find.
Yeah.
The best thing though is that it's on your phone. Like you don't have to get a console to do this. Like you could download the app and you don't even have to be really that much into Pokemon, and you could just do it.
Right.
So
it's made by the Google people that made Ingress, like which was their big ARG kind of like faction based thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it technically counts as like a major release for Nintendo in now that they've moved into the mobile space, like with the DNA company and everything else. I'm not sure how that's going to work or whatever, but I don't know. Bernard,
are you going to trade us your Pokemon from?
Are you going to catch them all
from New York?
I'll have to see. I played this developer's previous game Ingress before.
How did that work out?
It's I don't know. Maybe it was a bit too abstract for me, but like you had to like set up portals in the real world, and then like people on your side had to protect it or support it. Other people could attack it, but and maybe not enough people were playing, but like it was very inactive. This Pokemon thing sounds like it could be, I don't know, if they work off that system a little bit more, it could be more interesting than that.
It's funny because the way what you pitched sounded cool, but the way that you said it made it sound not fun.
Less
like even though the words, if they were on paper, I'd be like, that sounds really interesting.
If you had millions of people playing Ingress, which I don't know how many people they had, but like it probably wasn't enough. Like, and like the things that you make in the real world, like if you see like actual people interacting with it, that'd been cool. But like, there's a lot of like you set something up and like nothing really ever happens. So that's weird.
That's a bummer. Just lack of people will, yeah.
If it's not, I hear it's thin, but it's devoted, is what I hear. The people that actually do play Ingress,
cult following.
Yeah.
It's like if two people showed up to a soccer field.
Yep.
1-on-1, yo.
Yeah. 1-on-1 soccer. What? Goal!
Yeah. And then goal again.
Yeah.
No, so as far as Nintendo's concerned, I think it's obviously like been a good year for them, although tragic in the same light after losing a it's an appropriate and necessary measure to name a successor. I think we were all kind of like, oh, it's Miyamoto's time. He's going to rise in the ranks or whatever. It's maybe it's good that it isn't. I think anybody on the creative end is kind of be like, I don't want to be the business guy. Like, I just want to go and make shit. You know what I mean? So it makes total sense to me that they pulled the guy who apparently, and this is not to be like a sidelining statement at all, he was like the head of human resources, but he's also one of the guys that like championed a lot of some of the more recent projects and franchises. I think Splatoon was one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, maybe he just has like resting bitch face then, because if you're the head of HR,
can you go into detail on that?
You don't know what resting bitch face is? It's something I suffer from.
What? Elaborate.
Really? Oh
no, please. I'm curious.
Resting bitch face.
I mean, it sounds like it's self-explanatory.
It should be. That's why I'm saying really.
Well, go ahead.
When you are not engaging in a conversation with anybody and you're just kind of walking around by yourself or with somebody else,
and you look pissed off,
and you think people think you look mad or angry or something to that effect.
All right.
And yeah, a lot of.
And you're saying that
yeah, me too.
Kamishima has resting bitch face.
Well, no, my point is because you guys said that he doesn't look like anyone.
He's a little stone-faced, a little austere. Yeah.
So maybe that's just he just has resting bitch face. Because if you're going to be the head of an HR department, you better be a people person. I'm just saying, you know.
It's a valid point. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't look happy.
But he looks like he knows a lot. So,
he ran the Pokemon company for a long time. He did Nintendo of America. I mean, I imagine he's probably got a sense of humor somewhere deep underneath that.
I mean, think back, because I can think of countless people where before you knew them, you had a kind of an odd impression of just the way they walk past.
Oh, I totally judge books by their cover for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't say I do that necessarily, but you're always going. Okay, yeah, everybody judges everybody,
especially us.
No, but you have an impression about somebody, and then the weirdest thing is that can be dissolved in the first sentence when you like have a conversation.
Actually meet them.
Yeah, you start talking to them, and you're like, oh, you're not anything like I thought you were.
I was wrong.
Yeah,
or I was right.
Just because of that face you make all the time.
Yeah, resting bitch face. All right. Maybe we got to...
Now you know. Are we going to call it resting bitch face? Yeah.
It's good stuff. Also, in as a quick side note before we move on, this week on the 13th rather, was the 30th birthday of Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So, pretty rad.
Wait, specifically of Super Mario Brothers or
the first
Mario?
one? Just no, Super Mario Brothers the game. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking because Mario,
supersedes it. Yeah. Well, right, Donkey Kong and all that.
Yeah.
But Super Mario Brothers the game came out 30 years ago, or a few days ago.
Yeah, there have been a lot of articles on how the game was like really well crafted or something to teach players how to play the game or something, like just the first few seconds of the level or something.
Level 1-1 is one of the most expertly crafted.
You put it in and you're playing that level pretty much. That's how all the games back then worked anyways. And you had to figure them out.
Well, as much as people talk about like Blizzard being such a design-centric company and everything else, like, I don't know, the one that gets taught to us in like entry-level design classes at school is Mario 1-1. Like, what is it teaching you tacitly? Like, how, what's the conversation that you're having with the designer right now, and what is it, what is it imparting to you for the rest of the game? You're like, scaling intensity curves, blah 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 blah. I'm sure like Bernard's eyes are rolling right now, but but yeah, absolutely. 1-1's a big deal. Mario's a big deal. I mean, it's it's a fucking iconic thing. You know what I mean? But
so everyone knows the first like part of that level easily. Like
exactly how it starts out. So
but
happy birthday.
Also, with games like that, you had nothing else to do but to try everything because
you only had 3 lives.
They didn't really hold your hand, or
time has been generous to it for sure. I'm not saying that that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you are limited in what you're gonna do, but you're also gonna be like you can approach it from almost any way you want. But it's going to teach you right away what you can't do. You know what I mean? Like, oh, can't go left. Done. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I got to jump over that pit. All right. I see a box up there that's glowing with a question mark. I guess I should try and figure out what that does. You know what I mean? Like, it does all those things in a very kind of like sequential manner.
No, I agree.
So, I'm just saying.
Like games like that, they didn't need to teach you as much because almost every game back then was a fail game.
Well, that's it. Like much simpler systems for sure. Yeah. You know what I mean? But necessary nonetheless.
The bushes and the clouds are the same sprite.
Yes, they are.
They're just discolored.
Yeah, I knew that.
Bernard looks so frustrated right now.
Bernard, is that your favorite game of all time?
Mario?
Do you like Mario?
It's probably not my favorite, but it's a hell of a game. I'm not sure what you're saying about it, like, because it was older, like, and there's not much else to play. Like the fact that you can just like retry multiple times. Like I don't know if that is entirely accurate in terms of like how it's designed.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying the time's been generous.
He's talking to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still right, Bernard. I'm not wrong. That's the important part here.
No, my point is just that earlier games like that, they were all fail games at the end of the day, and the way that you learned how to play them was by just kind of trying whatever you could. That being said, like that game definitely guided you correctly enough times that when they threw it at you, it would only become a fail game because of your skill level. Where other games like Gradius would like throw you into a game and you just start dying, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? But that, I guess that's just what I'm getting at, is that, you know, when you're compared to other games like that, it's like you learn most of those games you learn by dying and then trying again.
No, totally. Congratulations to Kamishima-san, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening with the NX. Hopefully the trajectory of Nintendo stays on the uptrend. It's up to you now, bro. No pressure.
Side note.
Yeah.
Related to this, though.
Go ahead.
Nikk and I saw today, I don't know if anyone, and I won't get political, but if you saw the debate recently, Donald Trump liked to make a lot of funny faces during that debate.
The 5-second vine of him doing every emoji ever.
Nope. This is better. This is related to our topic.
Okay.
If you look it up, you can find somebody who did a vine of, do you remember the intro to Super Mario 64?
Yeah,
where
vaguely.
you had the hand and you could pull on pieces of the Mario mesh.
Yes.
And it would pull his lip, or
right,
his
and he, like rebounds
his eyebrow up, or like whatever. Yeah. So somebody did that where they put the background of the Mario game in Trump's face, and they had the hand, and every face he'd make, they'd like pull it, and it looked like they were like making his lip come out or his eyebrow go up, and it was hilarious.
That's pretty brilliant.
So anyway, yeah.
Okay. No, I actually tweeted that I was going to go watch Ex Machina again instead of the GOP debate. And then I was like, ... There's an artificial intelligence joke to be made here. Wonk, wonk.
Oh, so for more of those gems, go follow Jill Erskine on Twitter.
It's really good. You guys should watch it, though. That movie's fucking amazing. It's really good. Anyway. All right. You know who doesn't want your games, Nikk?
Hey, we predicted this, I think.
Yes, we did. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to the end of this when you've had a little bit more beer and then you get to go on a massive rant. So Yuan Zhang wrote an article for VentureBeat about how China doesn't want our games, at least Western developed games. He goes on to, it was quite a lengthy article, actually, and made some pretty maybe obvious, but at the same time kind of like insightful points about why, yes, it's awesome that this console ban is up, but even from a mobile standpoint and a PC standpoint, this market is not very, I don't want to say accepting, but it's like, it's so dominated by what's happening there already that it's going to be super hard for Western developers to make inroads to try and take advantage of a $15 billion market that is growing at a very large rate on a year-to-year basis. So he made very
100% like this year or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Year to year is what is based on some research that he had links to that I didn't bother to look at, but because it said 100%, I was like, wow.
Like, I trust it. This looks like a graph.
Sure. Speculation.
It's a pretty graph.
Yeah. He basically said that like console games in general, from a Western standpoint, it's like we don't care. Most of our market is dominated by mobile right now, and to a certain extent PC. But and believe it or not, despite how powerful the iOS market can be in China, it's Android with over half the market share that's dominating everything, because it's easier to crack games, it's easier to do everything else. But that's how it's kind of working right now.
I can delete my unused apps.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
That's neat.
Sure. But so like basically what he's saying is that like, yeah, it's great. There's all this money in China for gaming right now. If you're from a Western market, don't get all that excited, because it's damn near impossible. Unless you have like this crazy amazing game that will probably end up just copying anyway. You need a bunch of like, you know, people on the ground here to kind of get it going, and a bunch of marketing money and a bunch of other stuff to kind of make it happen.
So what they have to say about games like League breaking over there and stuff?
They said a lot about League breaking. I was kind of interested, like MOBA's popular as hell and they still get played quite a bit. But like when you look at certain market shares, like out of 100, like specifically for mobile, and I know that's not necessarily what you're asking about, but like no matter what list it is, from what console, from what platform, is that like out of 100 games, there's still only 2 or 3 that are.
Okay, so you're saying it comes down to a game of odds where it's like unless you want to gamble and play in the lottery.
It's not what I'm saying. It's what he's saying. I think.
No, yeah, but I get what you're saying. So it's not
what he's saying, but yeah,
I get what he's saying.
Okay,
that it's not necessarily that games can't break over there. It's just that if you're actually trying to market that for some kind of profit
or demographic
forecasting
or whatever,
anything,
sure,
you really can't. It's like, I get it.
But yeah, I mean, I think the way he ends the kind of the article is kind of like it's like go big or go home. Unless you're doing like AAA hardcore with a bunch of marketing money behind you, fuck off, essentially. So,
well, they also got the whole. There's a lot more barriers, also like the restrictions on content, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't even like the same things we do over there, also. So.
He said that a lot of those restrictions that you're talking about are specifically for like internet-based games or like anything that runs on like an online service because that's internet over there is a fucking black box. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to do. It's just controlled by the state and everything else. Like there's only so much you're gonna have access to.
That's why EVE Online has its own server over there. Like there's one server for the world. China has its own.
36 minutes in, and we just now mentions EVE Online.
Fun fact.
I feel like you're running late, bro. You're losing your touch.
Right. It's a good end.
I think we need to add a new segment to the show called Eve Facts, where once a show, Nick gets to share some facts that I personally don't give a flying fuck about. That
it's the Jimmy Fallon thing, when he does like thank you notes on Jimmy Fallon, where it's like,
totally.
Dear Eve, I love you because,
because you put a server in China.
Bernard, any thoughts, man? Like, what are you thinking, buddy? You okay?
I don't know.
Tell me how you feel.
What's going through your mind right now?
Isn't it hard to, I don't know, like quantify any of this data anyway? Because, like, as you mentioned, like, it's hard to get statistics from the Chinese market because the internet over there is such a black box.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But this is a guy who was I don't know if he was a developer or not, but he kind of worked on this side of the business, and he talked about how consoles aren't working because, they're vanilla and they're like, they're super, region locked and everything else. And like, because of violence restrictions based on the state, like we can't really get Battlefield or GTA. Like, so why the fuck would we do that? So we go to the mobile space. And when you speak from a Western perspective, stuff like Candy Crush and Clash of Clans or Game of War, now starring Mariah Carey, not Kate Upton, by the way, anymore, you guys. I don't know if you know that. Just so you know, they're not performing nearly as well in China as they are everywhere else. You know what I mean? So, so now it's the Android market, which is obviously maybe give or take easier to develop for, but at least more open door to a certain extent. But even at that point, like the market's super crowded, and most of it's dominated by stuff that's already being made like in country. You know what I mean? Or being ripped off from America and already being remade, which is kind of a deflected answer to your question about like the mobile situation, how League of Legends and stuff like that is still very popular there, but it's not dominating the same way it is in America or in Europe or Korea for that matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I get it.
So China doesn't want your fucking games, Joe. That's what I'm saying. All right.
What do we do about that? What do you propose? Are you just going to tell me this, or are we going to come up with some plan?
Well, I wanted to readdress it because
plan to attack China with
no, not like
with our games.
Yeah,
attack China with games. I guess because we talked about it, like everybody was kind of super excited when the 15-year console ban got lifted, and now everybody's kind of like, this guy took the time to turn around and be like, don't fucking cream your pants just yet, everybody. Let's slow your roll and be like, this is actually a much harder market to get into right now, especially for Western developers. So
I was just more
chill out, Microsoft, essentially.
I was just more excited, I guess, for like the it's like another degree of freedom or something, kind of like.
Okay, how do you mean?
Like it's one less thing that's banned. It's just like one more thing that like is open. They can choose to do. They can choose to buy a console if they want or not. They don't not have the choice to buy a console anymore. So like, oh, that's cool.
But they can't play GTA. So
yeah,
what's the
maybe
point?
Eventually, I think we said in the last time, is like they'll get into them or something. But it's way too soon. I mean,
steps in the right direction.
It's a step in the right direction.
It's a degree of shift, but not necessarily where it needs to be. For not necessarily for Western developers getting into the market, but for consumers to enjoy content that they otherwise wouldn't necessarily have.
Change takes time. All right.
Well, it's a molecular process.
Is it?
It sounded good.
I think it's a
it sounded
good in my
head.
head.
Elaborate on that one. So the Chinese internet is apparently also like the Wild Wild West show.
It's true. It's kind of been on my mind.
So yeah,
the Wild West.
I'm gonna equate that to every topic.
I don't know what that means. Like cowboy porn or
no.
Nope.
No.
Do you know anything about the Wild Wild West?
That's not what that means. What is cowboy porn to you?
I don't know. I
don't want you to tell
me. When he
me.
hears wild, he thinks girls gone wild. And he's like,
I heard Wild West or something, and
it just means that there's no regulation, there's no laws, there's nothing governing it. Meaning like anybody can get away with anything.
There's a regulation where like can't be
murder
connected to the rest of the internet. Kind of. That's a regulation.
I think the way that the internet exists. I've never been to China. I can't speak to this or whatever, but. The internet in China is probably much more frustrating to use if I want to see some more of the stuff that I see like on Reddit every day. You know what I mean? Like I can't necessarily see that shot of the thing that shows up on a stream or like a stream of photos. Like I'm sure that there are certain memes and shit that just get banned because people find it like violent.
Like, is their internet still like in the 90s for us or something? Like they got the bad.
I don't think it's just old.
No,
I don't think they're just finally watching Friends. I think that
right. It's not that they're behind the times. It's
I'm not saying behind the times.
They're totally like up to date. It's just regulated.
Like they don't have a Google search or something, so they can't look things up easily.
No, but they have another browser that's probably based in China that you can still find stuff. But if you trigger some word that they don't like revolution, for instance, or capitalism, you know what I mean? They're going to tell you sorry, this site's fucking banned. And now there's like a fucking brigade of people coming to your house
This search engine is banned. You cannot use the search engine.
I'm just saying.
Anymore.
So
you must type applicable words.
Whatever.
So it's hard to find things.
I don't think it's necessarily as user-friendly and accessible as things like Opera or Google or Bing even. You know what I mean?
You gotta drop Opera.
Look, they're still asking Jeeves. All right.
I try to think what I
Jeeves.
used to like search the internet back in like 98 or something. What?
Netscape?
You know what you did? You went to the library still.
What was there though?
So I'm just gonna go.
I go to the library to search the internet.
No, we had internet back then.
Oh, by
My
that
dad's
I meant I'd search the internet and I wouldn't find anything, and then I'd go to the library and I'd buy a book still.
Right.
That's how it was.
I know. I remember like looking up stuff on Diablo or something because I was playing Diablo back then.
No, you know what it was? It was fucking chat rooms.
Oh yeah.
That weren't not chat services. Not
ASL, bro.
There's still chat rooms.
none of the chat services. None of the apps that were
AOL.
no
shit
AIM.
You're talking about.
None of the AIM.
Oh, none of that? Okay.
No, none of that. Chat rooms. Like I got to go to a website
to get in,
and I have to wait.
Specific to a certain.
My 14.4 modem.
What was sex, age, location?
Yeah.
Yo, my baud rate is off the hook, yo.
I had to wait for all the scan lines to fucking finish just to see if anyone's typed anything new.
Right.
Not like there's no notifications or anything. And then I type something in, and then I gotta hit refresh, and then I watch the scan lines go. And I'm like, did she tell me her sex, age, and location?
It's not SAL. It's ASL.
Oh, whatever.
Okay.
I didn't say the acronym.
No, I just remembered what it was.
I was going off of. Never mind.
Your point is made, Joe. Your point is made.
Look,
Bernard,
the internet is the wild, wild west. Okay.
Yeah, in China at least. Woohoo!
What's up?
Pachoo, pachoo. Wild West. I don't know, man. I miss you. That's all. I just want to say hi.
Yeah, I miss you too.
Bernard, how do you feel about Joe Erskine's analogies in terms of the internet being the wild, wild west in China?
Yeah.
Feels
actually it's probably
calculated.
No, it's not even that calculated. In fact, it's probably actually absolute wrong analogy to make because it's so regulated that it's not the wild, wild west at all. It's probably just like a Kafka-esque novel where paranoia and limited use is like the norm as right. Yes. It's very much.
People refer to the Wild West as the Wild West and like the Wild Wild West as the movie with Will Smith? Because whenever you guys keep saying it, why you guys keep talking about this movie?
Oh no, we're not talking about
the movie.
Okay, I'm like, I was kind of thrown off there.
Yeah, he has a point because normally you just say Wild West, and maybe I'm just so used to it. Because,
I think I said Wild. I meant it as Wild West, but
Big Willie style. Yeah, right. And you're just like Wild Wild West.
Wild, and I see him in his black fucking chaps and shit, like dancing around with the circle glasses.
The big spider fucking mech comes around. And you're like, wait, the Wild
Kenneth
Wild
Branagh, what are you doing? Yeah,
this makes no sense.
Yes.
We're definitely talking about that now.
Bernard, +1 to Bernard for an excellent point. That's what I'm going to say right now.
Oh, Bernard's got the most points today.
Lightning round?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. After we go around the horn, you can
Tell me how it makes
each person's rant.
Who uses Wild Wild West as an appropriate?
No, you can go ahead and assign. You can assign points because now that you gave him a point, I'm feeling like I need a point for something.
Back when YouTube was the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. All right. So lightning round. We're gonna go around the horn here a little bit. Everybody's gonna get a few minutes to kind of rant for a second about this topic, and then we're gonna move on. We're gonna try and keep it as clean as possible in the sense that we're not gonna interrupt each other, but no promises. That makes sense, Bernard?
Makes sense to me.
Thank God. We're going to start with you then. YouTuber has who remains nameless, has demanded some money to feature a game after it was published. The publisher copped to the fact that they reached out to them in the first place. That YouTuber kind of turned around and was like, yeah, if you want 2 to 3 talking points, it'll cost you this much. If you want 3 to 5 talking points, blah, 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 blah. But he wanted money up front to do it, not to show it and then make money through the normal streaming process that we see both via Twitch and YouTube, I would assume. Is this, first of all, this is wrong. Don't do this. Unless you're that fucking popular, maybe you can demand money like that. I don't know.
Now your turn.
Yeah, you're right. It's not my turn. Bernard, I'm passing the conch to you, buddy. Go ahead.
Am I supposed to just weigh in on this?
Yep.
That's how this works.
Okay. All right. Well, so he didn't specify the YouTuber, so it just could be anyone. So this seems like an article about someone getting a message on YouTube, which seems like a very non-article or non-newsy type thing. So unless we can match a face to the name, don't really care, I guess.
Can I say one thing? This is apparently the YouTuber that was reached out to and then responded is a popular one. Has millions of subscribers and
unless it's specific, it doesn't really matter. It could be anyone. If it's just called, if we're just calling the person YouTuber, like it could be anyone, so it doesn't really matter. It could have been someone who has 10,000 subscribers, or 1,000 subscribers.
Well, but but I'm saying specifically, like he mentioned that this particular YouTuber had millions.
But still, like because of the anonymousness of it, like it's hard to gain anything from this happening. Besides, someone decided to send an email to this guy.
All right, fair enough. Arroyo, go for it.
I don't think this is a big deal at all because if you think about it from maybe this is like that weird capitalist view on things, which I'm not necessarily, but we grew up in a capitalist country, so these are the kind of things that I see and they make logical sense to me because I grew up seeing it all the time, which is you have lots of people that I have an opportunity to reach out to through. And this person may be incredibly ballsy, but at the end of the day, they're giving you free marketing if they don't ask for money. So at some point, I don't necessarily agree this is the right thing to do, but I understand why they would do it. And I also see this happening in the future and being successful and being the norm very shortly because it makes sense. Like you want 2 million people, 5 million people, whatever, to see your game. Yeah, give me some fucking money. I mean, I don't see why companies wouldn't be interested in shelling that out. It's like when you think of the marketing budgets that come from publishing companies so that they can put this thing into a commercial so that 5 million people see it during a football game, it's not that different to me in that respect. If you have that to back it up, then why wouldn't you at some point ask people to give you money in order to do it? Do I like it? No. Do I understand it? Yes. That's it. That's me.
Okay. Nick?
I don't really see a big deal with it. I feel like it's kind of the natural progression of things. I was more confused, I guess, about all the articles that were like poorly worded, like just the titles or something. Like every time I read it, like I scrolled past it, like 3 different like occurrences of it or something. I always read it like YouTube demands money from game developers. Like what? Like what does this mean? I like read it again. It's like game developers trying to pay a YouTuber for playing their game or something. I was like, that was the biggest problem I had with this whole article. Like it's just my dyslexia. I couldn't read it very well. If we're being candid.
Okay.
+1 for dyslexia.
It's 1+ for dyslexia, actually. All right. Are you good?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
He doesn't know how to feel it.
I think this kind of thing, like, I think this is kind of what you were alluding to, Joe, is that this is the kind of thing that you do through an agent or an agency, that if you're that fucking popular, that you have people kind of negotiating for you when you're still kind of on the up and coming, despite the fact that YouTube is a viable service for streaming games and is a viable source of revenue. If you have millions of viewers, you are most often kind of still acting on your own behalf. I think the only guy I can think of that is beyond this at this point is probably PewDiePie, and who apparently has a fucking TV show in development now. Fucking weird. Wow. Yeah, awesome. I mean, good for him. But regardless, so if you're the guy that has all these followers, it makes sense that you have a game and you want to get it out to these streamers because it's a viable venue. It's people watch this shit. This is a good way to promote your game, right? So for them to turn around and ask for money makes a certain amount of sense. It makes more sense to me though from a professional standpoint that maybe you get an agent or somebody to act as a go-between to make it seem more legitimate, like an agency. You know what I mean? Like the way actors do. Like that's how they negotiate contracts is through an agent, not necessarily through, themselves. There's plenty of people that do it by themselves that like act as their own agent. Comedians do this all the time and everything else. Maybe that seems more legitimate. It's a tried and true process. This is still kind of like the streaming in general and the revenue, as popular as it is still kind of something that's in its infancy, and it still has kind of. I hate to say it, but it's kind of like the Wild West, guys. The rules haven't been defined.
-5.
I just feel like
it seems shady. I'm not sure if it's because of the way the article was written or whatever. Maybe this YouTuber had grounds to ask for a certain amount of money. Maybe he gets it on the regular, he or she for that matter. Nobody, we don't know who it is, but I don't know. The guys that made this game are kind of like, fuck that. You know what I mean? And that's fine. So you reached out, didn't work out. Let's move on. Yeah? Good?
Are you asking us?
No, I'm saying like from the attitude of the developer, I guess.
I just feel like the articles are the way they were written. It said demands on all of them. It's like, it's very threatening.
That's what I liked about his little bit. It's just like you're just trying to make the article more compelling.
I feel like it wasn't a big deal, and because they threw the word demands in there, we all read it for some reason.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not sure if it has more to do with the way the article is written or if the actual circumstances preclude the reaction. You know what I mean? So one way or another, either way.
I just like your
Wild West.
No.
I wish I could remember how the beat went for the Will Smith song right now.
Don't worry about it.
It probably went Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild Wild West.
Wild West.
That's pretty much it. And you got it.
Yeah. And here we go. You guys can hit the dislike button when I post that later to Facebook. How's that for a segue? Apparently, Facebook is Zuckerberg has come forward by saying that they're working on implementing a dislike button into the Facebook functionality. They're going to be testing it shortly, and if it goes well, they will be rolling it out for everybody. It's not about trolling and down-liking stuff the way that YouTube works. It's more about expressing empathy, quote unquote. So if somebody posts something that is like, oh, this thing happened to me today and that sucks or whatever, if you hit dislike, it's not because you dislike the post. It's more like, oh, I hate that happened to you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think that's the way they're hoping this works. Anyway, Bernard, we're gonna start with you again, and I won't interrupt you this time. How's that? Even if you hear me humming the tune to Wild Wild West in the background, just keep going, okay? How do you feel about a dislike button on Facebook?
I'm not so much a fan of either dislike or like buttons. It seems like it's sort of a way to kind of contribute to something without actually having to do so. So you just sort of feel like, someone says something, maybe it's like a moment in their life or maybe it's something profound, and you're like, okay, I noticed. That's literally what it's come down to with the like button. So with the dislike, it's just another avenue for doing that. It's like if you want to contribute, if you want to be, a member of this other person's life or something, make a comment, say something that's, that's unique. Don't just press a button and think that you've, done your social interactions for the day.
Yeah, that's good.
Go ahead, Arroyo. We'll keep the same rotation.
Oh, okay. I dislike this. I mean, I'm sure somebody was waiting to say that. I will express that if we. Thanks. Anyone have a comment? I have it's tough because I have a similar issue with the like button as what Bernard was saying. And I'm also guilty of it too, where you're like, I kind of just want to make sure they know I'm still here, whatever. But the thing is, it's also used for marketing purposes a ton. Like, depending on what you like, there was a social experiment that somebody did. I read an article on just a week or two ago about, I'm going to like every single thing and see how my Facebook feed changes, see how much data mining they actually do. So he did. And he said it was one of the most difficult things he ever done because he started liking things he really did not like just to see, I would go, and he was afraid of how people would think of him and all that kind of stuff, but he did it anyway. And then before you knew it, his Facebook feed was just completely different. So what I wonder is how they're going to work that all into the marketing. Maybe that's the reason why the dislike button's not out now, because that they don't need to develop a fucking dislike button. It's like, it's already there. It's the opposite of the like button. Just add that into the module and it's good. But they're probably doing it because they need to weave it into the marketing so that all the people who are getting all that data mining fucking shit are going to know whether or not you dislike this bike. So you don't, whatever, you don't buy this bike. Now they say it's for empathy. It's fucking bullshit. That's such bullshit. It's so not to say that I dislike that you fell down the stairs today. I'm the guy who likes that post. Like,
did you get a Vine of it?
Yeah,
I like that.
Right, exactly. That's the most bullshit reason to roll out a dislike I've ever heard in my life. That I can't even. Everybody knows what the internet is like. Have you ever read a YouTube comment in your life? Like, they're never going to be anything productive. This dislike button will not be used in a productive sense. It's going to be used for marketing, and they're going to use it to find out what you like and what you don't like. Hence the dislike, and that's it. And then you're going to get different things show up on your newsfeed because of
+1, Mr. Arroyo. +1.
I think you say
sure.
I got it. +1.
I was going to agree with Joe because he somehow read my mind and said exactly what I was going to say. But yeah, it's not for expressing empathy. What it means is Facebook has figured out the algorithm for figuring out the opposite of things. So now,
crazy algorithm.
+5. They did Golesh right away.
They found an algorithm that says when I dislike oranges, it means I like apples, hopscotch, or something. Like, so now I get hopscotch posts. That's all this means. It's like they figured out how to market dislike in a way. So when you can say anything. I dislike anything, and it'll give me something else that it means I actually like. I don't even hit like that much. Like when I use it on Facebook, you guys know how I use my Facebook. I repost these episodes, and that's pretty much it.
It's the same way you use Twitter, not for nothing.
I don't even like my posts. Like I never like my own posts, because otherwise Facebook will know
what you're interested in, and then give you something completely the opposite.
Yeah. But if I dislike them, then they're gonna know that I like something else. So that's the whole problem. Empathy, fuck that.
+1 to you, Nick.
Yeah.
+1, fuck him.
I got +5
empathy,
already.
fuck 6. You. Yeah,
that's 6
for
points.
Nick.
Yeah, you're up. I'm not keeping track at all. So,
no, 6
so here's the weird
1.
thing. So we're offering +1s or whatever, and I feel like that's actually the like button for Google Plus. So what happens when Google Plus comes back with the -1? Is this the correct answer to stay relevant in the social media game for Google Plus? Then is a fucking dislike button necessary on Facebook? No, it's not. People keep thinking it's like, oh, I want to be able to let people know when I dislike something, or if I agree with them and the context is correct for me to dislike it. No, it's not at all. Like, you don't need it. Like, either you unfollow them and block them for your feed, unfriend them, or you have a like to let them know that, like, hey, I'm paying attention to what you're doing. Something you said was cool, or something you reposted was awesome. Otherwise, I'll leave a comment if I'm super invested. You know what I mean? Because I can't be bothered otherwise. Just like you said, Bernard, it's a way to show involvement without actually getting involved. You're like, oh, I'm scrolling through my shit because I have nothing better to do right now, and I hate my life, and I need to see how everybody, how much better everyone else's life is on Facebook, so I can feel bad about myself. Oh, cool, your baby was smiling, +1. And I'm gonna scroll down again, or not +1. Sorry, first. I'm confusing my social media platforms. But at the same time, it's kind of like honestly, why would you incorporate a dislike button if you are not literally just feeding the fucking trolls? That's all I'm saying. Empathy be damned, right? So if you're putting this out there as a quote unquote expressing empathy maneuver, you're fucking full of shit. So
dislike.
So -1 to all of you, +1 again just to balance it out. And I'm not commenting, and you're all blocked from my feed. So fuck off.
The Cheat Codes podcast would like to apologize for our slander against empathy. We have no problem against empathy as a concept.
Sympathy is more our style, though.
The idea that the dislike button as an empathetic mechanism is horse shit. That's all.
Stinky.
Empathy's great. You should
have it.
Well,
And
at least
exercise
sympathy.
it.
I mean, we can't expect you to
Right.
experience what we're experiencing.
Sure.
But, Facebook.
All right. Last bit for the day, and then we'll wrap it up. But this is actually kind of one of my favorite bits from the day. So some of you may have noticed at the top of the show, we quoted Do the Right Thing. We all got nicknames from Do the Right Thing. We're paying a little homage to Spike Lee today, hence the courtside Knicks thing. He's famous for that. The way that like Jack Nicholson is famous for being courtside at Laker games. You know what I mean? Spike Lee is famous for being courtside at Knicks games. He's been tasked or has completed or it's about to come out with creating, writing, and directing the story mode, the career mode, my career mode for the new NBA 2K6 team. Which is a lot of fucking NBA games, not for nothing. But this is something we've gone from very simple things like NBA Jam or Double Dribble all the way up to like a full-on basketball simulator that's to the nth degree at this point, or the 16th degree, I guess is what it should be. But it's a fictionalized basis where like instead of you just having like an apartment where you like go and change clothes or buy things or do stuff, like there's a whole fictional story to follow. From your roots as a high school player to getting drafted or at least getting, playing maybe some college, but probably most likely straight up right into pro out of high school. And it's that whole thing of fans and, probably harlots that just want to sleep at you at away games and all this other shit. You know what I mean? It's about as real or unreal as you want it to be, is what it sounds like. I think, honestly, when it comes to sports games, which are kind of like a no-no in our universe, because like, oh, that's not real gaming and everything else, which is bullshit. It's totally straight up fucking gaming. Like, who has the longest fucking existing franchises? Sports games. I mean, what the fuck? Just saying, guys. Anyway, I know it's not my turn. I'm sorry. Arroyo's giving.
I think it counts as your turn.
I'm not. I'm just looking at you.
I think this is awesome, and I'm gonna let everybody chime in now. Bernard. How do you feel about Spike Lee doing the story mode for NBA 2K16?
When's the last time Spike Lee has done something notable, I guess, is the question I ask myself.
Shots fired.
Right. So, yeah, the last movie I've seen of his was Old Boy, which, isn't exactly...
It's not his movie.
Not... Well, he directed it, so, I mean... Like you said before when we started this podcast, he got paid to do it. Well, he got paid to do it NBA probably. So, are we expecting the same level of quality? I think Spike Lee's maybe someone who's peaked already, which is I mean, I haven't seen too many of his movies, but like it doesn't seem like he's on the up.
Shit. Oh, is that it?
That's good.
I felt like you were gonna go deeper. Oh, okay. Oh, I know. No, you got to pass the conch. I don't know who's next.
I'm passing the conch to you.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, how's it going?
I get to go now.
Sure.
Holy shit! I might play an NBA game again. Do you remember the South Park episode where they did the Tiger Woods fucking game? It was like the best golf game ever because it was really about him just
going through divorce and being a fucking asshole.
Exactly. So I'm thinking like when they WWE this shit, I'm gonna be all about it. You come out on the court and they're like, "Boo! Like you cheated on your wife." It's like a totally different vibe. Like that's the story of that everybody gets caught up in with sports players or professional sports players and basketball specifically, and I mean really pretty much anything. I mean, imagine going through like a scandal. Like I wonder how they're gonna handle that kind of shit. Like if Spike Lee can manage to put in the kind of drama that we get out of the WWE, which I no longer watch at all, but nonetheless, I imagine that younger me who enjoyed that kind of thing would love the drama of that, because the truth is I don't fucking play sports games anymore at all, because I feel like they're the same lather, rinse, repeat shit I've always played, and I don't see the point in spending another fucking $60 on the same goddamn game over again. But if you gave me the experience like was in South Park with fucking Tiger Woods going through a divorce, I might be interested in checking it out, because I might want to know how that thing plays out. It's like, do I get to the conference finals? Who fucking cares? Because I'm going through some shit right now.
I have a raging cocaine addiction, and I need to charge into the stands right now to beat up a fan.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Nick?
Who's Spike Lee, I guess? That's my first question.
Oh, my God.
But because you can't answer me, I'm going to
I can absolutely
relate this
answer.
No, you can't.
This reminds me a lot of, I think they had like an NFL career mode or something where you could go through and you could play as a quarterback or a wide receiver or something. Why would you play that? You just play quarterback. But it also reminds me of, like, I'm just going to go off on any topic right here. Like, there was the NCAA game or something a while ago. Like, you could play like a guy through college and everything. You play one person sort of, and then you transfer him over to your NFL game, and he's like a god because you maxed out his stats or something. Like, because everybody in college football sucks, you just like run it down the field. You get 100 yards for like every rush. You come into the NFL, that translates to your stats or something, and you're like the best player that's ever existed or something. You just run down the field, and you don't even care who Spike Lee is because you're making tons of money or something in career mode.
You good?
I'm good.
Yeah, all right.
Living that dream.
So I have a couple things to say.
You did your turn already, I thought.
I feel like you kind of had your turn.
Oh, I'm the host,
kidding.
and I get to have my turn. Okay. So, first of all, Spike Lee, in case you don't know, you may not like his work or think he has relevant work lately. Bernard, I'm looking at you.
I just said I didn't know who he was.
He's still an important filmmaker, whatever you want to say, which is why the beginning quote of the show was from the movie that put him on the map and made people realize that this is somebody we should maybe pay attention to. And I stress maybe, because maybe that means that you're like Bernard, where you're like, yeah, you did some cool shit, and maybe not so much anymore. Here's where I segue to the part where I agree with Joe. And this is the thing with, I don't think I've bought like a franchise sports game in a very fucking long time. And this is the kind of thing that makes me want to turn around and buy a franchise sports game again. Yes, there were hints of this back in the day with some NCAA games that you could port over. I think Madden had a career mode at one point where it's like literally when you went to the menu, it's like you're standing in your apartment and you could upgrade to that apartment or whatever. And that was kind of like cool idea, but not fleshed out enough. This sounds like the fleshed out thing that we kind of wanted, that was hinted at back at that Madden game. Let's do it with the NBA. And I think Spike Lee, it's cool that 2K is getting on board with this. Let's have a fucking rad story mode. Let's have some fucking cool cutscenes that, you know, Spike Lee directed. Why the fuck not? Like, let's have a filmmaker do something that's going to give us a cool narrative to approach to. Otherwise, what is basically just a fucking sports simulator. Like you said, Joe, that like we get one every year for $60 fucking bucks, and we tweak some values every once in a while, or we re-render some faces because fucking James Harden's got some new facial hair. We got to make sure we throw enough elbows while we're driving down the fucking paint. That kind of shit. Fine, but like make me care about it again. Like, even if I'm an NBA fan and have a team that I'm like loyal about and I want to play as these people, like, so what? I'm going to make my character, I'm going to make fucking Joe Erskine the fucking oversized tattooed white guy that's basically Shaq. You know what I mean? But like, what's my career like? Fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, how does that journey go? I don't know. I'm interested. I haven't played a fucking basketball game in a very long time. I kind of want to play this. And not just because of Spike Lee, but it's fucking cool as shit that they got Spike Lee to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Joe, what happens when the story mode turns out to be in between every game on the road? It goes, do you cheat on your wife now?
Well, if they're doing it appropriately, well, the answer is no. But
no. And it just keeps, you're like, this is spam at this point. Yeah. Spike Lee, come on.
I'm curious to see how fucking racy, like GTA-ish or Witchery he gets with it, because if they're gonna go that far, why not go all the fucking way, right? You know, maybe you put some parental settings that edits the fucking mode a little bit, where it's like, oh, my 14-year-old son who's a big basketball fan wants to play this career mode. You know what I mean? So maybe I give him some fucking drama with his agent, and I give him some drama with the draft, and he's not sure where he's gonna fucking end up, blah 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 blah. But maybe not the fucking drugs and the fucking, you know, waking up on the side of the road after I crash my Porsche and fucking, you know, off Rodeo Drive or something. I don't know. What the fuck ever. Like maybe not necessarily being faced with decisions like I'm not going to go bang this fucking hood rat because I can, but
can I choose to go to college instead of going to the NBA? Like, and then go.
That's
then
a fucking reasonable choice to make.
The NBA's not going to want you at that point, dude.
Right. It's high school. What if you get injured, dude? You're not going to fucking live up to that $60 million contract that you would have otherwise.
Yeah, and then you won't be able to pay all the child support from all the babies.
Spike Lee, the pressure's on you, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
See, I like where this is going. It's good. It sounds fucking like.
I think we're overblown. I don't know if it's going to have all this option, but it would sound like this is an amazing game right now.
Tense.
Yeah, fucking A. I'm just saying.
I hope you can go to college and it just says game over after that.
You went to college.
And then you graduated college with a full degree in economics, but now you're a car salesman. Congratulations. Yeah.
But you're still tall.
Yeah. You can go show up at alumni day and give some seminars on how to shoot a basketball. Congratulations. All right, Bernard.
What's up?
We missed you, buddy. I'm glad you were here to do the show with us today. Thanks for staying up late. We know you're back. 3-hour difference and all that.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
You got to get your beauty, but you got to get your beauty sleep, buddy. You're a handsome son of a bitch, and I appreciate that. So I understand that that's a hard thing to maintain. You know what I mean? I'm a handsome guy too, is what I'm trying to tell you, and that I understand how this goes.
You empathize?
I do. Hey. +1. Nick, +1. I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you please, dear listener, let us know what you think. Hit us up at cheatcodespodcast.com. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and get in on the conversation. Just don't hit that dislike button. Spread the word, or unless it's an empathetic dislike. Spread the word. Tell your friends. And until then, stay tuned for a new episode coming next week for sure. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bernard.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye, everybody.